Thank you so much for staying tuned. Like I said earlier on, is the impeachment plot. Yes, Donald Trump. And of course, the matters are rising. The Senate committee has been set up to really look into these claims because it's like one too many. And one person, one of the protesters carrying a placard, on the placard there's this inscription, "Impeach the traitor." Who is that person referring to? Is it Donald Trump? Yeah, plot is very, very strong. It has thickened. Anyway, let's me introduce my guests if we don't really throw more light on all this conspiracy theory. The conspiracy will become true eventually. Right now, we don't know. John, welcome, Barrister Osaha Osazua, a legal practitioner and of course a political analyst. Welcome to the show. I appreciate your comment.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Before Donald Trump entered, or before he became the U.S. president, you have this, how will I put it now, disdain, so to speak, and it was so glaring, it was so clear. But in some aspect, you gave him kudos, and in some other aspect, you were like, oh, he's not trying this aspect. And here we are. Plot also thickened against the U.S. president, Donald Trump. These are claims. Is there elements of truth in these claims?
Yes, thank you very much. The FBI did not just decide to investigate Donald Trump just like that, so to speak, but it was due to evidence, in quotes now, circumstances. Or you might say those evidences were circumstantial, but they were there. One event following the other, and each event exploding louder and more alarming than the previous one, that the FBI couldn't sit down and take it anymore. They thought that, in fact, they thought what before now, what INT'L was unthinkable, that a sitting U.S. president could be a Russian asset. That is to say, could be spying for Russia. In fact, sitting here, I cannot even imagine how the FBI could have reached such a decision. But they reached it, not emotionally, but based on events, based on the behaviors and the activities of a certain Donald J. Trump. It puzzled everybody, what he was doing, and to a very large extent, what he continued to do, raised that alarm, and the thought of removing him via the 25th Amendment.
Via the 25th Amendment. Now, what events are you really talking about? You talk about events and the FBI just can't sit back for their arms, relax and watch things disintegrate in the U.S., making them, because they use some unsavory words against Donald Trump, saying he's H to Putin. What are the events?
It is a long line of events. A long line of events. I think the first shocking one was when, during the third, yes, I remember it was during the third presidential debate, when he told the whole world that Russia, if you are listening, that you should help him to find the missing emails of the opponent, Hillary Clinton, which in effect was telling the whole world that he was encouraging a foreign nation to spy on a private American citizen. It was alarming in itself. And when, after the election, it became obvious, even before the election, during the Obama administration, which for me, Obama didn't even handle the issue well. So many mistakes were made, and they were not courageous enough to call a spade because they thought it would be interfering in the election. So they saw that the Russians were doing everything possible to make Donald Trump win. They were sending certain emails, targeting certain persons who they have infiltrated through their Facebook and pages, and they were sending them messages to vote for, either to vote for Trump or overtly or manifestly maligning Trump opponent Hillary Clinton. It was a battle between the forces of light represented by Donald Trump and the forces of darkness represented by Hillary Clinton. Clinton was satanic. Trump was an avenger of God. And this Russian propaganda, so many persons bought into it, even so-called Christians. They never knew it was coming straight from the Kremlin, discrediting Hillary Clinton, causing fear that he was working for Satan, so to speak. And so many things like that went underground. And it really scared people because we are emotional beings. They appeal to their base instinct. He appealed to those things which they thought make them Christian and make them white. So many circumstances happened. That was one. Then, most importantly, when they now saw that of a truth, Russia meddled in the election. They brought it before the Commander-in-Chief, Trump, FBI, and all the different security agencies, intelligence agencies. They came and they said, look at what we have. And he said, I don't believe you. These are trash. What is this? I don't believe you. He said, why don't you believe me? He said, because Putin told me so that he didn't do it. I believe Putin. So that was the second shocking thing he did. Then thirdly, when the investigation was going on, he called then FBI Director James Comey and told him to take it easy on Flem, who was his national security advisor then. Take it easy on him. That could be interviewed. Don't investigate him too much. Just do just blocks over it. Just do a kind of window shopping. Don't just take it easy on him. And when Comey didn't take it easy, continued with the investigation, Comey was fired, which was the third or the fourth major thing he did that really stunned the FBI. And by firing Comey, he sent an alarm bell. Then the deputy director of the FBI, what is his name, Andrew McCabe, who just wrote that brilliant book now, had to set up a special investigation to investigate Trump and to see if he could be removed under the 25th Amendment that has to do with getting the vice president and a majority of the cabinet members involved. It can sign up to removing Trump because they were afraid that he was working for Russia. Because everything he has done before then shows directly to the intelligence agencies, to everybody who knows one or two things about security, that this man was either a Russian asset or that Russia has something strong against him that they were not using, which they could use against him, which he doesn't want them to use, so that he was not working in their favor. So these were circumstances that happened. And again, he also came on board with very wide-ranging activities and policies that were not only anti-immigrant, but were manifestly racist, and things that he did. Apart from removing him through the 25th Amendment, now, they now also talk of removing him, impeaching him, Congress impeaching him. I think that's where we are now. But of course, the Democrats haven't taken over the house now. They are very reluctant and very careful not to overplay their hands. So that what happened to Bill Clinton in the 90s couldn't happen to the Democratic Party now. Because then the Republican Party really went after Clinton. At the end of the day, because they went after him too heavily, the American people now have sympathy for him. And they now propped him so that the administration will remain. So now they are afraid that the same thing might happen to Donald Trump. That is why they are playing cool now. But ultimately, I would like him to just do his term and let him go. But one thing is certain, Trump will go with his tails between his legs. He will go leave his office in shame. He will go down in history as...
You said that he wasn't going to win. Don't forget that. That was some years back. You were here with me in the studio. You said for what is happening from the telltale signs, he's going to lose. And he's still there, the president. So how are you not so sure that he's going to run with the tails behind
It's not me that said he wasn't going to win. Everybody thought...
I'm quoting you right now. You're here with me in the studio.
Yes.
You said that.
Let me tell you something. Even Russia, that was working very effectively for Trump, they also sent out trolleys, what they call trolleys, a kind of trying to gauge the opinion. Another strong website trying to gauge who is going to win the election. They were afraid that after they might have done for Trump, he might still not win. They were even sure he was still going to win. But they hated Hillary Clinton so much that they just wanted Trump to win. After doing all they could, they were still afraid that he might not win. That is why Trump, though he won, Hillary Clinton had almost 3 million more votes. Almost 3 million, about 2.7 million more votes than the popular vote than Donald Trump. No,
so, but the Americans, but not relevant votes.
No.
The relevant votes.
Just that if you look at the demography in America now, just that the places that the Democratic Party already have is the north, the big places. Talk about California. If California were a country, it would be the 6th largest economy in the world. California is a massive place. Don't even mention New York. Don't mention New Jersey. All those big places are all Democrats. They vote overwhelmingly Democrat. But there is a certain, when it comes to the electoral college, there are fixed and numbers attached to each state. If you like, get California, get every BB place. But you still have to pick some swing states, especially in the South. Those in the South, they are very conservative. They like to think they are Christians. For me, most of them are really hypocrites. So if really, they really listen to that narrative that Hillary was evil and Trump was good. So those peasants, those villagers, they came out and they voted Trump, and that's why they're president now.
All right. Now, but the Russians, they are still saying that they have nothing to do with that election. Even Putin also, one-on-one interview, said, look, I don't know what you're talking about. We had nothing to do with that election. Do you think that the Russians should be cut some slacks in all these accusations and counter-accusation?
You know, it's like we are seated here now. Here you are there. Wincy Amacha is facing me. And I will say, Wincy is not in this room. Wincy is not here. Look, because I keep telling myself he's not here. Regardless of the fact that he is here. It is a fact that you are here. And that fact does not depend on my accepting it, whether you are here or not. If I say 1,000,000 times that you are not here, will not translate that you are not really here. I just refuse to accept the fact that you are here. That is what applies to Putin and Russia now. The evidence is clear. The intelligence, everything is so clear. The different sites, the different places where the IPO originated, the IP originated, everything Russia, the handiwork Russia. So they actively participated in the election to influence the course of that election. That is a fact. So they keep saying it, we didn't do it. And despite the fact that they brought everything before Trump, he keep telling them, I believe Putin. Just imagine a sitting US president will go against all his security apparatus, or against intelligence being gathered by his own people. And we say, if Putin says he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. Because we have seen for a very long time that there are certain leaders from Stanley and Hitler, they just, reality for them is what they think should be. The way they want it is what they insist that it is. They don't want to see anything. And Trump came aboard now and is telling us about what they call alternative fact. That if he says it is this, it is this. How did he start? Even from the very day of his inauguration, he comes out and he tells the world that this is the biggest crowd ever in any inauguration. And they now brought camera footage, area footage of different inaugurations, so that even his son doesn't even come near the first 20. So what? And he insists that, and that's the issue he has with CNN on the NBC and the major network, because he said this is white. And those guys come and say that it is black. He said, no, it is white. He said, but sir, this is black. No, because he says it is white, he wants them to accept the father it is white.
I don't think he's speaking by faith. After he walked by faith and not by sight.
So that is the issue with him. It is called alternative fact. He just wants what he says to be correct. The truth, to be the correct. If he says that immigrants are passing the border in unprecedented numbers, he wants it to be so. When the data shows that, in fact, last year and this year they have the second lowest rate of people entering the U.S. from the Mexican border since the 1990s. But we tell you there's an emergency, that people are coming in through the borders, that drugs are pouring in, drugs are piling in, people are being trafficked across the border. That is what he wants to believe, that they are coming in a torrent that the Americans have never seen before. So therefore, he wants to declare an emergency, and he has gone forward to declare an emergency when the data shows that, in fact, for almost 30 years, this is the second lowest year that was last year, 2018, the second lowest year that ever been recorded of people crossing the border. So where do you get your statistics from? Where do you get your figures from? When your own people, the border patrol, every agency that have to do with the border, they tell you, look, this is statistics. But they say no. Because of what? Because they said, I will build the wall. I will build the wall and Mexico will pay. Now it's not talking about Mexico paying. Now I want to build the wall. He has removed the other part and said, and Mexico will pay.
Now, do you think that the angle by which these petitions really hit trouble, the angle of this war that is want to declare a state of emergency in order to raise funds? Because right now 16 states in America, led by California, they are suing him for that, in quote now, assault on public taxpayers' money.
It's just beginning. I think the suit will multiply. This one will go up to the Supreme Court. It has to. But then the Democrats are also very careful about it. From my own thinking, ordinarily they wouldn't have sued, because what Trump has done now is opening the floodgate, so that there are certain things that is at the heart of the Democratic Party. That has to do with climate change. That has to do with taxation for the rich. That the poor man and the rich man cannot be paying the same tax. So that something has to be done about nature, about climate. Otherwise, 50 years from today, the earth might not be more comfortable for human habitation again. That something has to be done about it. So they think that Trump, by declaring a fake national emergency, the issue of
how was it fake?
We also had the issue of gun control, which also had the act of the Democratic Party.
You use the word fake national emergency. How is it fake?
I want to learn. I will come to the fake.
All right.
So, talk about the issue of gun control. Every day in America, people are dying. Thousands have died. I was reading an article the other day, was talking about, he gave me, I think it was New Orleans, one is city now in the US, that people who have died from gun-related violence since 2001, not forever, 2001, the number is almost the people, the whole population of New Orleans today. That is the real emergency. So if a future Democratic president will say, okay, look, if Trump could declare a fake emergency over border patrol, over border control, what of climate change? What of gun control? When everybody agrees that something has to be done. So they might also use that power. They might bypass Congress. Maybe then it will be a Republican-controlled Congress to achieve their aim. Look at what the so-called Green New Deal by that Ocasio-Cortez now, that 29 years old Democratic and new Congresswoman. So these are some of those ideas that they think they can, in the future, since Trump has set the pace for them, that they want to bypass Congress, that if at the ultimately Supreme Court holds that he has the power, it is well and good even for the Democratic Party. But anytime they come, they can also push their own agenda by bypassing Congress. So that is it. But Trump is not far-sighted. He's a time-serving person. He's a person who thinks only about today. He just, because he said, I will build a wall, he wants to build a wall even though the heavens will fall. He doesn't care. It has to do with his ego. Like Nancy Pelosi, the speaker, said that he said this word thing for Trump is like manhole thing. You want to show you are a man, that you are the man. So I really think that is the truth. You just want to do it by all means. Even if it is to defy the very foundation of the American government, to defy the constitution and the institution of state that the U.S. is known for, that the U.S. is a place where institutions are strong, and those who are saddled with the responsibility of piloting the affairs of the state are almost like marionettes, or what they call puppets. That the institutions are so strong that the strong man cannot emerge in such a system. But Trump is waging a strong war on American institutions. And the Republican Party is so afraid to confront him. So I look at Lindsey Graham, nice person. I look at the majority, the speaker, the majority leader of the House, of the Senate, McConnell. Ordinarily good persons. But Trump has a way of bossing them to his corner. They are so timid. They are so afraid. They cannot put they cannot say something and stand by it. Today they want to confront Trump. Tomorrow they line up behind him. So I think the future of America is at stake, and the Democratic Party knows this. So if they want to allow the time-serving Trump to trample on institutions of over almost 300 years now, let them do it. It is their funeral, if you ask me. But the time will also come that the Democratic Party will also use this same method that they are allowing Trump to use to push for the real emergency, not this fake one that is not supported by data, that is not supported by the facts, that he has manufactured, crisis that he manufactured because he just wants to build this wall.
How did he manufacture the crisis? According to reports and records, you have more migrants from Mexican side. So how did he manufacture it?
Please, we see.
Because
which report are you talking about?
While Trump was addressing a crowd, he talked about, he gave figures. He talked about the death rate, he talked about drug, he talked about so many things, and that's the reason why he's bent on building that wall to protect the U.S.
Let me tell you what the facts are. The fact is that majority of the so-called illegal immigrants in the U.S. entered America legally. They just overstayed their welcome. They just overstayed their visa. After the expiration of their visa, they stayed back. That's it. Overwhelming majority of persons, so-called illegal immigrants in the U.S. now, they entered through illegal means, through the ports of entries. That's how they entered the U.S. It's not through the Mexican border. I've not known one person who entered America through the Mexican border. That's the fact. The other fact is that most of the drugs also entering the U.S. also come through the port of entries. That is also based on available statistics by the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, and even Border Patrol Unit. They know this. So Trump wants his war. He's not ashamed to lie.
Trump war or Americans war?
No, it is Trump war. He lies. It's not even ashamed about lying. Even facts cannot contradict him. If he says it is blue, it is blue. Demonstrate from now till kingdom come that it is red. When it is red, he won't take it. You just waste your time. And it is so sad that the so-called party of righteous men in America, the Republican Party, they are lying up behind these record-breaking liars. I don't know why they keep doing it. It also shows their hypocrisy. It also shows that their timidity and lack of courage to stand up for what is right, to stand up for the truth. Because what are they doing? Time serving for the moment.
Time serving for the moment. Is all about plot to impeach U.S. President Donald Trump and the matters arising. Now let's take a look at the House. Now, had it not been that the Democrats, due to some circumstances occasioned by the disposition of Donald Trump, are now in majority, do you think they would have taken this step to impeach him?
You see, what we just learned recently was that it was the FBI who wanted to co-opt the vice president and majority of the ESCO members, or what we call cabinet, to remove him through the 25th Amendment. But as for the Congress itself taking the first move of impeachment, I think they are just waiting for the Mueller probe. Some are waiting for the Mueller probe, but there are others hot-headed, especially the young Democrats, the young ladies who just took over the House now. They want him to go now. That's why we heard that what's her name, Talababi, the one that has a Tunisian background,
yeah, that
impeach the word she used, and impeach him now. Others say we came here to remove the. I don't want to use the split but they want him to go. If you are right thinking, if you have a heart and you have a conscience, you can't stand Trump, and I understand. But Nancy Pelosi is a seasoned politician. She's waiting for the time when Trump cannot say anything, when even his most ardent supporter will come to understand that, look, we have been fooled all along, that this man played us for suckers, and now he should go.
And now he should go. Is he really going to go? Now that is another question. Now you talked about the FBI trying to coerce the cabinet to really move with the 25th Amendment, so to speak. Now, if Donald Trump eventually survived this, or do you think he's going to wait for a survivor, or someone or some person's head in the cabinet will roll?
Of course, for that one he has survived. So that's why he's saying that he didn't even know. He's now saying that, of course, you just get about 62 million. He had about 62 million Americans voting for him. That and about a handful of persons now they're now plotting behind to say to remove him. No, it is treason. That's the truth. So he's now saying it is treasonous. And we made sure at the beginning that the Senate now said they want to look into it. That how can you want to remove the president via the back door? What has it done to merit such drastic move? Getting it? That's the Republican Party thinking now. But we know that what hasn't Trump, the answer is what hasn't Trump done to be removed? He has done everything, even which Nixon didn't do. But we live in a precarious time. We live in an age that is very troubling. It is true. Very troubling for a sitting U.S. president to be taught a Russian asset. That breaks all norms. But we have it. Every day, things that have never happened before, they are happening now. You begin to ask yourself, where do we go from here? If we could have someone like Trump, who abused his way straight to the White House. You saw him during the debate before he even won the Republican Party nomination. If you ask him any question, any of his opponents, before they say anything, if he sees that the poll is favoring you, he comes after you aggressively. He insults you from here to heaven, and it just and people, they didn't know how to react to it. It was a new kind of politics. The American people, they are decent. They like to believe they are civilized, so they do things in a civilized manner. But here comes Trump, without any scruples of morality.
No,
without any,
now, because many people would differ talking about scruples of morality.
No, it
at least he has standard. Maybe according to you, he doesn't have it, but so many Americans that voted for him, talking about Americans that came out in mass to vote for him, he has it. Now, talking about the FBI and of course the reaction of the Republican, is this move really drastic?
Yes, for them, they think it is off the hook. They think it went too far. What they don't realize that as far as Trump is concerned, nothing goes too far. He has to be checkmated. Is it not troubling, honestly troubling, that even Congress, in the U.S. Constitution, the executive and Congress, they are co-equal. No one is stronger or more powerful than the others. But we see Congress, members of Congress, Republicans, members of Congress, they are abnegating their duties. They are allowing Trump to derogate from their powers. Are you getting it? To do things that are troubling instead of standing up. Remember what Thomas Jefferson said, that the tree of liberty must be watered from time to time by both the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is the truth. The tree of liberty must be watered from time to time by both the blood of patriots and tyrants. That is to say, every moment, every great moment calls for sacrifice. You need to do what is right, even if you don't feel like, as long as it is right. Don't think of what the impact it will have on you. The Republicans are thinking that their parties will be doomed if Trump is unceremoniously removed. If Trump is impeached or leaves the White House in a way that is not glorious, they think it's a loss for them, that they won't be able to tell voters anything that will get them the votes. If they could all be fooled, because that's what happened. Trump fooled all of them. That even the good ones among them, apart from a very few, let's say the late McCain was one of those few ones, and the new senators that just came now, the one Romney. But Romney, since he came now, he has been also cautious, trying to understand Trump, because Trump has a way of intimidating people, and I also think he has some. Maybe Russia has also helped him to get some damaging information on most of those Republicans.
Those speculations.
Yes, I think so, because you look at Lindsey Graham today, we say this, tomorrow maybe Trump will give me a call, you know that stuff I have, so he will change his mind. The other one will say this today, the other one will change his mind. They don't just know how to handle Trump. I think he has something incriminating on them, if you ask me. Otherwise, what Trump has done are going to do cause for alarm. But I also think...
So for what you're saying right now, his government is a government of blackmail. Is that what you're saying right now? Is that what you're inferring?
You watch the other day on NBC, this Saturday Night Live, when Alec Baldwin, when the character, just a honorary comedian, trying to, when he was talking about the Trump fake emergency, when he was mimicking Trump, and Trump openly threatened him. And this is not the first time he has done it. You see what he did with Cohen. Cohen was to testify before Congress, and he reminded Trump of his father. That in a very mafia-like language, that if you are under FBI custody or something, what about your father? What about your family? Are you getting it? And that also backed down. That's what McCabe said. He said in his first meeting, even Comey, the former FBI director, James Comey, also said it. He said the first meeting he had with Trump, and the first thing that struck his mind, this is a seasoned prosecutor who made his name prosecuting the mafia gangs in New York. He said the first time he saw Trump, he said Trump reminded him of those mafia lords he was fighting then in New York. The first time he saw Trump, he had this mafia-like organization. He has he demands fierce loyalty from people around him, even his cabinet members. That's why he keeps changing them. The first quality that Trump desires from anybody who is going to work for him is fierce loyalty. Loyalty to him. Ordinarily, the loyalty should have gone to the Constitution, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. But no, not for Trump. It is him first. Let the house burn if it has to. So if he doesn't get that from you, you are gone. And some person came, the so-called deep state operative, maybe Kelly was among them, maybe Kelly's thing was also among them, who thought they could do something from within. That Trump is dangerous. We cannot leave him to his own devices. Let's see if we can prop him up. Let's give him good advice, good counsel. Let's direct him. What happened? They were shamed out of office. He doesn't want good advice. Even when his generals told him that, look, we cannot just leave Syria and Iraq like that. It is dangerous. ISIS has not been defeated. What did he say? He said, no, I know more than all my generals combined. What are you talking about? That he doesn't care. He just, what sort of leader is that? So that is Trump. Trump is an enigma. They say he's crazy. That was yesterday. Someone said he's crazy. That's Trump. The truth that Trump is crazy. They should go and examine his head again. That's the truth. They don't understand him. He does things no American president has ever done. Not even an ordinary. Even the mafia doesn't even operate like this again. They have refined themselves, but Trump has not refined himself. He just keeps bulldozing his way, thinking only about today, thinking about the moment. Like I said before, he's a time-serving person. What is it for now? He doesn't see beyond his nose. He doesn't want to see tomorrow. He lives for each day. Let's tackle today. Tomorrow we'll see what happens. And such a person is not needed to be the leader of the world. Whether you like it or not, the person who occupies the White House is the leader of the free world. But Trump doesn't see himself as the free world. He doesn't care about human rights. He doesn't care about human dignity. All he cares about are strong men, like the Philippine president who goes about shooting drug barons by himself. He doesn't just care. Career is gone. Okay, it's a drug lock. Without going through the institutions. People like Putin, people like Kim, those are your friends. People who think they are strong people, whose words are law. He wants his word to be law in Washington, but that is not going to happen. But from the way the Republicans are doing, they want to give him more power. More power. Maybe the time will come and say, let's amend the Constitution to make him. I don't know.
Wow. Quite interesting. Very, very interesting. But from what point they are saying that they're waiting for the Mueller report. Do you think that report will be the final stroke that will either make Trump's administration or break Trump's administration, knowing fully well that it's all about the link or the meddling of Russia in the US election?
Before the Trump era, one would have thought that certain things could not happen. You have a sitting US president whose campaign manager for Manafort is about, they just recommended about 24 years prison term for him. I'm talking about his campaign manager, not some far-off person. We have a sitting US president whose personal lawyer is Mr. Fix-It, have been sentenced to about 7 years imprisonment. We have a sitting US president whose former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, is doing time as we speak today in the cell. We have a sitting US president whose daughter-in-law has been implicated in aspiring for the Russians, that he collaborated, so to speak, he collaborated with the Russians to swing the election. Everybody around him, so many persons, but we have a president whose long-term friend, Roger Stone, is also facing indictment. So many persons under indictment, and we tell you that he's clean. How can he be clean? They all lied for him. They continue to lie for him, and it's not even ashamed. You see him, he rises up every morning and he says, he bombasts everybody, and he goes his way. It cannot be sane. It cannot be sane.
So now you're talking about the Mueller report. Is that what will make or break it?
Yes. The Democrats are waiting for it. They want something official. And we also have a president, so pardon me, who has done everything within his power to discredit the report even before it comes out.
Because from what he said in his Twitter handle that the report is conflicted. I don't know if the PD can just display the tweet by President Donald Trump. He said the Mueller report is conflicting. That's what he said.
Has he read? He's telling us he has read the report.
Because if you take a look at the tweet, anyway, it's not, you're going to look at it because like bringing out facts, bringing out figures, saying, look, you guys shouldn't base totally on that Mueller report. I'm like wondering, will this report, having been riddled with so much controversy, is it going to see the light of the day? Because that, according to report, may be what is going to make or break it.
Let me tell you something. Nobody knows what Mueller has. I think Trump and his surrogate, they have an inkling of what is coming. It's a massive bomb. One that will explode larger. All
right, now just phrase it. The Mueller investigation is conflicting. All right, now that was one of the tweets by President Donald Trump. So they completed the report. So is it going to see the light of the day?
Let me tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, the report is going to explode more than the bomb of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So what he's doing now is trying to a safe landing for himself, to discredit the report as much as possible, so that when those revelation comes out, he can save face. That man is without no sense of shame. He just see if he can mondo his way out of this whole thing. So that's why every day he has been throwing slings and mound at Mueller himself, at the members of the team, at they are Democrats, at they are this, at they are that. Even though we all know that Mueller is a long-time Republican, one of those straight arrows. They call him the straightest man in Washington. He just set his eyes straight, and there's nothing we do that can distract him. If there's a job to be done, he does it, and he does it very, very well. So, in fact, all his advisors said, this man is beyond reproach. Don't say anything about him. Maybe you can say something about the members, or say something. That's how he has stopped. For over a year now, he has not said something about Mueller himself. So, he knows what is coming, and he will get it, because the facts are there, and facts are stubborn things. They cannot be wished away. They cannot be necessarily politicized. No matter the language you want to use it, anybody who is designing enough will see through it. And most Americans, they have seen through Trump. Trump is very lucky. Lucky in the sense that so far the economy has aired for him, and the only reason the economy is working because the guy is he has bulldozed his way. Is by hamstringing others. Look at what he's doing to China. Look at what he did to even the neighbors in Canada. What he did to Mexico. What he did to the NATO allies. He just has a way of triangulating you, making you to do his bidding. That is why all those monies he has been able to recuperate from this. That's why the economy seems to be holding. But anytime the figures start going down economically, that is the end of Trump. Even before the report comes out.
Before the report comes out. All right, now, in course of the 16 states that sued Donald Trump, being led by California, talking about the emergency funding of the war, one of the protesters carried a plaque and it was like, "Impeach the traitor now." To end the show, is Donald Trump a traitor or a patriot of the United States of America?
Okay, maybe you will not get this. Let me put this in context that most of our viewers understand. It's like President Muhammadu Buhari now sitting in Aso Rock, and for some reasons, the SSS, we have reason to believe that Buhari is working for the president of Nigeria. That if that one, that it is that one that sent him, that is working for him, which ordinarily should puzzle us. So if the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is known for thorough investigation, if it can painstakingly and painfully come to such conclusion, to investigate, to open an investigation, even to the extent of acts of the Deputy Attorney General then, even Tina Rosenstein, volunteering to wear wire, recording device, because they say that anytime he enters the White House, they don't search him, to go and record Trump, to get strong evidence against him. That shows you the unease that the person of Donald Trump exudes. There is something about him that is not right. That is so, that looks like what they call mafioso. That looks like dirty money. That looks like someone who has been compromised by a foreign nation, now by Putin. They say being breastfed straight from the food he eats comes straight from Moscow, being breastfed by Putin.
They're just allegations.
No, it's not. These are back. Of course, that's why the FBI opened those investigations. I talked about the FBI. The FBI, even till today, they are still bringing out facts and resolutions that go contrary to what Trump is doing. Even when all the top brass, as we speak today of the FBI, we are appointed by Trump. But they have to do their work. And they tell you this is what it is. That it is dangerous to leave Syria now. That we have an issue here, we have an issue there, that Russia meddled and going to meddle in our elections. But no, it won't believe you.
In summary, is he a patriot or a traitor?
That is left for the Americans.
All right, or is dancing in between? Well, it's left for the Americans according to you. Thank you so much, Barrister Osahos, as well, for your wonderful analysis.
Thanks
but
for having me.
Amidst the likes of Cyril Kumbawa and of course Emmanuel Nebinose, I think those are fans of Donald Trump. Maybe one of these days.
Yeah, he has lost them. I can assure you.
Are you sure?
They were initially enamored by Trump.
Are you sure?
I'm sure he has lost them.
Anyway, not to worry. You're going to have them on this platform to really take a look at this plot to impeach U.S. President Donald Trump and the matters arising from his stand. Is like saying, well, it may just be that the Mueller report may be what will break or mar Donald Trump. That may be the last straw that breaks the camel's back or make the back thicker, stronger. As it just to bring issues making rounds globally on international forum for you to get to know what is going on, because the world, they say, is a global village. Whatever happens in a particular or given area of the world have this ripple effect on other parts of the globe. Keep it with us next week Tuesday at about 1:30 for another edition of International Forum. Bye for now.